We welcome you to the West Coast Conference this week. It is presented by Geico, and we come to you today from Portland, Oregon, the city of roses. And you know how the roses grow. They grow from rain, and it rains here all the time, and it's going to rain here again this afternoon. But it's not going to deter the game here at the Child Center. It'll be Pepperdine and the hometown Portland Pilots. Let's take a look at the standings in the West Coast Conference. Now, what's really important here as we head to the West Coast Conference tournament, you want to be in the top 6. You don't want to have to play in those first round play-in games. You want that first round bye. And both these teams right now very much on the cusp. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, my partner, John Crispin. And John, what we really have here is two kind of schizophrenic teams. They can be very, very good, or they can be the other way.
Yeah, well, you talk about finishing in the top 6 so you don't have to play in that first round. You also want to get into a little rhythm. You want to get a little confidence going into postseason play, so you're playing the best basketball you can play. Anybody in this conference can beat anyone else. We've seen that. It's proven. Even Gonzaga can be taken down. So I think for these two teams, you want to get some rhythm going into postseason play, and right now, a lot of emotion. It's senior day for the Portland Pilots.
And Pepperdine certainly does have the parts, especially up front. They bring Stacey Davis off the bench. They have Brendan Lane in the starting lineup. When these two guys go well, Pepperdine goes.
You know, I hate to repeat what's on the screen, but 28.8 points, 15.2 rebounds per game for these two. And with Davis coming off the bench, that is an immediate threat offensively and rebounding. They are a beast down low.
And all of that said, the big guys can only get the ball when it's delivered by the little guys. And they've got a guy with a great handle, just a freshman, Jeremy Majors.
Oh, Jeremy Majors has been great. As a freshman, a lot of poise, a lot of moxie, and I got to say, players respond well to guys who not only can score it, but they distribute and play unselfish basketball as well. The players have loved his leadership, and certainly Coach Wilson has too. We got a chance to talk with him earlier, and he couldn't be happier with his young freshman.
Well, Jeremy's been great for us. As a freshman, I've given him a lot of responsibility. I've given him the responsibility of running the show. He's the only guy that started every single game for us this year. I've challenged him to be a vocal leader, which is hard for young freshmen, but he has the personality to do it. He's a guy who can score as well, so he has to balance scoring, running the team, getting assists, and then sometimes defending the best players, perimeter player as well.
All right, that's Coach Marty Wilson on his guys. Let's talk about the Portland Pilots for a minute. And before we talk about who's here, I guess we've got to talk about who's not here. And one of their starters, Kevin Bailey, not going to be available to play today. He has a contusion on his calf. He's out.
He's out, and that's 16.5 points a game that you've got to find a way to make up. And it's not just going to come from one guy. You're going to rely heavily upon some bench players as well as other guys in the starting lineup to really pick up the slack. And that's what happens. Good teams respond well to adversity, and we'll see if they can do it tonight.
And certainly they're going to look to senior leadership on senior day, and that is in the person of this guy right here, Ryan Nicholas.
Yeah, Ryan Nicholas. We talk about guys who are double-doubles. Every coach, every player that you play with loves a guy on the team who's going to be that unselfish guy who can score, but at the same time is going to do the nitty-gritty things, and that's what he does. And his coach, Coach Rubino, absolutely loves this kid, and he's definitely going to be sad to see him leave. And we got a chance to speak with him as well about one of his best stars.
You know, Ryan Nicholas, even the casual observer can see statistics, how important he is for the program. You know, Mr. Double-Double. His off games are great games, and he just has produced all 4 years here on the Bluff, and that's been fantastic. But off the court, he's such a tremendous leader. He's worked so hard to even become a better and more thoughtful leader. He's always been enthusiastic, always worked hard. This last year, watching his growth as he's asked for reading materials on leadership, reading materials on how to be a better team captain, he's just been fantastic.
And I'll tell you what, Ryan Nicholas, a reflection of his coach, Eric Reveneau. So we've got a lot to talk about here on the WCC pregame show presented by Geico. When we come back, Geeter and Dave will tell you all about it.
I'm Chris McGee alongside the coach, Dave Miller, and we're in the middle of February. There are some tight battles going on for WCC. Welcome back to Geico WCC This Week in Los Angeles. I'm Chris McGee alongside the coach, Dave Miller. And we're in the middle of February. There are some tight battles going on for WCC tournament seeding. And for several teams, bids to the big dance are on the line. Let's get you to the conference highlights from earlier this week. We start with Pepperdine at Gonzaga. Kevin Pangos and the Bulldogs first in WCC. Malcolm Brooks takes this one down the lane for the floater. He had 11 points, waves within 4. Later, 7 minutes left in the first. Angel Nunez gets a pass from Stockton.
Boy, you talk about athleticism. He takes it to the next level for the Zags.
Jeremy Major finds Brendan Lane, sweet dime, inside for the bucket, waves down 6. Gonzaga playing well in the second half, coach, and Pangos, that young man can play.
Doing what he does. Feet set, puts him up 18.
Coach, Przemek Karnowski is good.
I just call him the Polish pit bull.
Karnowski 17.7 rebounds. Later, Stockton going off, drives, stops, drains the jumper. Bulldogs up 9. More from Stockton. Just like Godaddy. He hits from downtown. Stockton 18 points.
Is he related to John?
He is indeed. Later, great ball movement by the Bulldogs. Sam Dower gets the feed for the layup. Gonzaga rolls. Pepperdine 83-68. University of San Diego at St. Mary's. They're in Northern California. Gales looking to avenge an 18-point loss when the two teams met back in January. Picking things up in the second half. Game tied at 49. Zippity Doodah Sunadze gets caught in the air. Here comes James Walker, the third the other way. Layup plus the foul. So good, coach. 3-point play. We're going to look at it again.
WCC at its finest in transition. Uses the up and under with the finish.
Moments later, the lead is now 4. Great ball movement here. Kerry Carter, he's going to nail the 3. He had 3 triples.
Nothing beats great ball movement. Feet set, crisp passes. Love the tats.
Under 5 minutes to go. Lead is 10. Another costly turnover. Walker with the steal. This time, he's going to take it himself. Dynamite! Walker, team high 21. Gales go on to win 69-57.
Good times.
Good times indeed. BYU on the road, they're taking on Pacific. BYU is 9-4 in WCC play. TJ Wallace, Tyler Haws getting ready early on. Kyle Collinsworth with the steal. BYU's going the other way. Tyler Haws, he is so good, coach. Layup. BYU leads 9-0.
I love Haws, but Collinsworth is my Swiss Army knife. He does a little bit of everything.
First half, BYU up 2. Matt Carlino, he good. From deep.
Real deep.
28 points. BYU leads by 3 at half. Second half would be all Pacific. Aaron Short hits the jumper. Pacific up 7.
That didn't look short. That looked dead center. Net noise.
Later in the second half, Pacific up 11. Trevin Harris finds Khalil Kelly for the Monster Jam.
Looked like a little James Worthy. Exclamation. They're loving it on the bench.
More Pacific. Andrew Bach kicks it out. Tony Gill, he was in studio one time. He hits the 3-pointer. Pacific fans rushing the floor. Pacific wins 89-82. LMU, Portland. Eric Reveneau and Portland have lost 3 of their last 4 after their 3 overtime win versus BYU. First half, Portland turns it over. Evan Payne with the long pass. Gabe Levin for the layup and 1. LMU looking good early.
Payne Levin sounds like a great law firm.
Later in the first half, LMU up 10. Anthony Ireland in transition. We love him.
He's like T.I. You can do whatever you like.
Second half, Portland battles back. Ryan Nicholas knocks down the 3-pointer. Portland's taking the 2-point lead.
Love a big that can stretch it.
Under 6. Portland up 4. Off the inbounds, Thomas Vandermars. We're going to hear more about him later. Under 2 minutes left. Portland clinging to that 4-point lead. Nicholas hits the short corner jumper. Pilots win 71-64. Here's what the conference standings look like. Gonzaga running away with first place. St. Mary's now alone in second place. Half game up on BYU. San Francisco tied in the loss column with BYU. And everyone trying to avoid facing Gonzaga in the WCC conference tournament. So, Coach, we're only about a month away from Selection Sunday. Remember, 2 WCC teams made the NCAA tournament last year. 3 made it in 2012. And this has been a multiple bid league 3 of the last 4 years. We all know Gonzaga is going dancing. But who else can join them? Let's talk a little bit about BYU. Are they an NCAA tournament team?
They are. I mean, starting out, I had them projected as a number 11 seed. When you look at their resume, they won at Stanford. They beat Texas on a neutral floor. They played a tough non-conference schedule and then lost to a great Wichita State team and just barely lost to a terrific Iowa State team by 2. To me, they're a power offensive team, 3rd in the nation in scoring. They lead the nation in free throws. They've got a star player in Tyler Hawes. But to me, it's been Kyle Collinsworth that has got this team going. They moved Matt Carlino to the bench. I love their bigs in Austin and Mika. This is a team that needs to continue to win in the WCC in attempt to get that at-large bid.
What about St. Mary's, Coach? Where do they stand?
Well, right now, I'm a little scared if I'm Randy Bennett and the Gales. They've been a program that have won consistently. But to me, they lacked the big wins. They had a pretty easy non-conference schedule, and then they had bad losses to South Carolina, who's last in the SEC, George Mason, who's tied for last in the Atlantic 10. A couple good wins at Boise State, home versus San Francisco, and then North Dakota State that's projected at a 12 or 13 seed. You know, Holt has got to really count on his leadership to get this team going. He's the type of guy that gets others to flow. Waldow is a load in the paint. He's shooting 57% from the field. And then you and I both like Bo Levesque. He gets it done. But right now, they've dug themselves a little bit of a hole, and they've got to finish out this regular season. I'd like to say, don't put it in the hands of the committee. They should try and win out so they can have an effect of where they go.
Coach, March is right around the corner. I mean, how much does today's game have an impact on Selection Sunday?
Well, it's huge for both teams. When you think about this, a loss to St. Mary's would mean that a BYU has beat them twice in the regular season. And then with BYU, a loss at Pacific, that put them squarely on the bubble. This is an at-large game if there ever was one in the month of February in the WCC.
All right, that's the way to break it down, Coach. Let's go to break. Coming up next, we'll tell you how Thomas van der Mars decided to leave his home in the Netherlands and embark on a journey that brought him to the Portland Pilots. The WCC The WCC Player of the Week is Stephen Holt. The senior guard dropped a career-high 29 points in an overtime win at Pepperdine, and then another 17 in a win at Loyola Marymount. Shot 59.3% from the field in the 2 games, including 4 of 9 on 3-pointers. It was Holt's second WCC Player of the Week award this season. Now, while Stephen Holt grew up in Portland's backyard and left to attend St. Mary's, Thomas van der Mars traveled a long way from home to become a member of the Portland Pilots. But for the 6'11" junior center, the journey was worth it. After leaving the Netherlands and spending a year playing in the Canary Islands, van der Mars has spent the last 2 seasons in Portland, becoming a leader on the court and an all-WCC academic selection in the classroom. Here's Amanda Blackwell on how a leap of faith turned a Dutch boy into a Portland man.
This is a story of perseverance. It's a story of risk, and it's a story of success. This is the story of Thomas van der Mars. Growing up in the Netherlands, van der Mars didn't have a lot of opportunities to play organized basketball. So to further his goals, he took a leap of faith, leaving everything behind after high school to attend the Canarias Basketball Academy in the Canary Islands for 8.5 months.
I'm more like the kind of guy that like stays at home. My brother is the more like risk taker in the family. So it was kind of a harder decision for me. I thought if I was ever to take this to the next level, this was the only opportunity that would get me there. It was about 6 to 7 hours a day on average. We went very hard in practice. So there were some times that you question why you're there. Early in the year, I had some coaches that were interested in me. So that kind of helped me because it confirmed that I was doing the right thing because I got some exposure and I got some positive feedback from U.S. coaches.
One of those coaches was Portland head coach Eric Reveneau, who thought that van der Mars was a no-brainer for his program and offered him a scholarship.
You see the work ethic and you see a really smart, nice, conscientious kid that wants to be good. So when you pride yourself on a program that helps guys get better, you get excited about guys that want to get better, are willing to do the work. And then from a basketball perspective, you just looked at him and said, boy, he's not afraid of contact, he's got good hands, he runs well, he's fairly athletic, good size. And then you realize if he was up in Seattle or down in Portland, he'd be being recruited all over the place.
It was a perfect fit for van der Mars, who has thrived at the University of Portland, both on the court and off, particularly in the classroom.
Thomas was like, school's not really the problem, school's okay. And I'm like, oh, all right, I've heard that before. You know, normally that's a warning sign that the guy's heading the wrong way, like he's in denial. But Thomas gets mostly A's.
He just seems to know everything, and he'll be mad if he got like a B+ or something on a grade, and along with the basketball schedule and all the time we put in here, to be able to do that is very remarkable.
Obviously, basketball's going to end at one day, and then what you have to fall back on is kind of like your degree and what you've learned throughout your years, also in school. I have the fortune that I can be passionate about stuff in school, and that sometimes was hard for my fellow student athletes. Is finding something they're passionate about at age like 20, when there's so much you don't know about yourself.
Because van der Mars had that experience in the Canary Islands after high school, he's a much older student than many of his teammates. As a junior, he's 23 years old, and his age combined with the experiences he's had has matured him and made him a great role model for many of his teammates.
He's a good role model for my kids. He's a good role model for like youth of the world. He's a good role model, period.
I hope I set an example. That's what I try to do in my daily life, in my personal life, and when I look at school and basketball and the way you conduct yourself. I hope I can set kind of an example for guys that come in. I was always kind of like a late bloomer, so I feel like I fit right in, even though I'm a little older.
He is the old man. I sort of make a joke that like my senior year as a freshman, we overlapped.
When they talk about my age, I was like, you're 26, no, you're 29, like you're 35, like you're an old man now.
Van der Mars took risks and made difficult decisions to pursue his dreams. But the hard work he puts in on a daily basis has made it all worth it.
Our goal for every player is to become the best they can be as a basketball player and to take full advantage of the educational opportunity. And I can't think of anyone who could take more advantage of it.
It was hard leaving my parents and leaving everything behind. It's hard to think of it as a hard decision because it led me to so many good things in life.
For the WCC This Week, I'm Amanda Blackwell.
Another great story. Let's take a look at what's on tap today in the WCC. Pepperdine at Portland. That's the WCC game of the week. Gonzaga taking on Loyola Marymount at home. And of course, the big game, BYU traveling Northern California to play St. Mary's. And Coach Thomas van der Mars, we are both big fans, and he's a big reason, no pun intended, on why this Portland team is one of the best surprises in the WCC. This guy just keeps getting better.
Well, you got to credit the coaching staff. He is able to digest the principles. He's a junior. He has great experience. He's averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds. And I like it that he moves with the purpose. He's a long target. He's crafty in the post. He can score with either hand. And he loves the ball fake. And those are all things that you're taught right there. It's a show and it's a go. He's taken on the responsibility of being that guy in the lane. Nicholas can step out but Thomas likes to do all the dirty work, both offensively and defensively. Each year he's been there, he's been able to work on his body, and then in the offseason, he works on his game, and he's definitely seeing the benefits of all that summer work.
Coach, let's talk Pepperdine big picture. Most likely they're not a tournament team unless they win the WCC tournament, but they are definitely a team and a program on the rise. Marty Wilson's done a tremendous job.
Well, they have, and he told us he wanted to get in his kind of guys, and he's done that. When you look at that young backcourt that they have, Jeremy Major, Malcolm Brooks, this is a group that you can build on. They're able to push the ball. They've got great dribble penetration skills. They shoot the ball well, but you can't just be one-dimensional. You also have that inside combination of Stacey Davis and Brendan Lane. So I think he's done a great job of recruiting, fitting the pieces in, and then next year, he's got 3 bigs that are going to come in to complement these guards. So I like the chemistry. I like the mixture. They're in the top half of the league right now. Job well done.
And you and I did that game with LMU. I mean, a lot of these guys are freshmen and sophomores on this team for Pepperdine. They got some great youth.
Well, the best thing about freshmen, they become sophomores, and sophomores become juniors. There's a lot of coaches that lose their hair, but the key that I got of talking to Coach Wilson is this group is receptive. They pay attention to the details, and they do 3 things. They play hard, they play smart, and you and I both saw them play together. That's good signs for the Pepperdine Waves to come.
Great stuff right there, Coach. That's it for me and the coach. We'll get you back to Portland after the break.
We welcome you back. It is senior day here in Portland, and just a little while ago I had a chance to sit down with Ryan Nicholas, who's playing his last game here at the Childs Center.
The biggest thing is this is a big game for us as a team. I mean, we've been preparing for a chance to win a conference championship since the beginning of the year, and this is a big game in that process. But it is senior day too, and I've been here for 4 years, grinding it out, good and bad, and this is a pretty special opportunity.
So this is the last time you're stepping on a court. Let me take you back 4 years to the first time you stepped on the court. What was Ryan Nicholas like then?
Not the same person. And I think, just the process and the coaches have done a great job in, molding me into the player I am now, and my teammates have been a big part of that too. So, no, I'm definitely a different guy.
I think it probably says something about the way you play, but I got to ask you about your nickname. The guys on the team call you Rhino. Where'd that come from?
I've had that nickname. It just started in Portland, but I've had that in every team I've played in high school and everything. But it came up again in Portland, and I think it's just I'm aggressive. I'm kind of thick-headed sometimes, and I don't hate it though. I like it.
As you should. The other thing too, we always talk about student athletes, and I think sitting here talking to you, I think you defined the term really. You're on the West Coast Conference All Academic team, and that's no small task. Really difficult to juggle playing a major sport and also the classroom.
Yeah, it's something that it takes practice, just like anything. You need to be good with your time. You can't, waste a lot of it. And once you get good at it, though, by this point, it's, coming second nature.
So what's next for Ryan Nicholas now?
I just want to keep playing basketball. Try to go play in Europe, and God willing, I can play for a long time.
Why not? Why not? Yeah. I wish you all the best. It's been great watching you for 4 years.
Thank you very much.
We welcome you back to the Child Center. Barry Tompkins and the band, as you can hear, playing a proper tribute to my partner, John Crispin. And John, we always talk about what the givens are in a game. Yep. This is my favorite part of this show. Let's talk about the X factors.
Well, I think we start with Pepperdine. You're 1, 2, and 3. Davis Lane and even young Jeremy Powers. Those are 3 guys you're going to key on. But the 4th guy is the one that can really hurt you, Amadi Udini. He is 1 breakout game away from becoming a star. Another young Oakland guard who is going to be a star at Pepperdine, and it could start tonight. And you look across the court. Portland, this is a team that can go either way. They have a guy in Bobby Sharp who's going to have to fill a void left by Bailey on the bench. He scored 27 points against BYU in triple overtime. He's got it, and if he can get it done tonight, he can certainly help out on this senior day victory.
All right, the word stop the game starts. That's coming up right after this. We welcome you to the West Coast Conference Game of the Week, and we come to you today from Portland, Oregon. We welcome you to the West Coast Conference Game of the Week, and we come to you today from Portland, Oregon. Overcast skies right now, but a forecast of rain here in the city of Portland, and what a surprise as the Pepperdine Waves come making a house call on the hometown Portland Pilots. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, my partner John Crispin, and John, it's senior day here in Portland, so a little bit of added emotion in this game.
There certainly is. I mean, you've got 4 guys that are going to bring a lot of energy. It's a culmination of a 4-year, sometimes 5-year experience, a lot of hard work. And for Tanner Riley, John Bailey, Corey Tilke, and Ryan Nicholas, this is going to be an emotional night.
Well, Pepperdine brings its own senior. In fact, he's really not a senior. He's already graduated from UCLA, but he took advantage of that rule that says if you graduate and you haven't used up your eligibility and the school you want to attend has a major your other school doesn't, Brendan Lane took advantage of that. He's playing here at Pepperdine in his 4th year of eligibility, and you know what? He's filling the stat sheets.
He sure is. I mean, he's a cap and gowner, squared. He's getting it done on the basketball court and in the classroom. He's going to actually get his master's degree from Pepperdine, and he's dominating on the basketball court, blocking shots better than anybody else in the conference, but also scoring the basketball, and he's a leader. It's something that so many teams are missing in college basketball, true leadership and big game experience.
And Portland's got its own guy, very much like that. Defines the term student athlete, I think. Ryan Nicholas, we've been watching him since he was a freshman, and he's just improved and improved and improved. He's a pretty darn good player right now.
Yeah, he sure is. Mr. Double-Double. Again, a guy can go for 20 and 10 on any given night. Great kid, great teammate. And every guy I know named Ryan goes by the nickname Rhino, but this guy's actually fits. He's an absolute beast, strong player in the post, and he's going to have his hands full against a great front court for Pepperdine.
Piece of the cake. And tonight's starting lineup is presented by Red Lion Hotels, with more than 50 hotels throughout the West. We want to make a road game feel like a home game. Visit redlion.com for the lowest rate guaranteed. And here is the lineup for the Pepperdine Waves. Brendan Lane with Jet Raines getting a start. He will give way to Davis after a few minutes. Malcolm Brooks coming off a good game. Jeremy Major and Amadi Udini. Take a look at the Portland Pilots, and they will start all 5 seniors. Alex Wintering, Tanner Riley, Corey Tilke, John Bailey, and Ryan Nicholas. 4 seniors, I beg your pardon. Wintering not a senior in this game. Let's talk right now about the keys to the game. They're brought to you by Chevron with Techron, care for your car. John?
For Pepperdine, I say 30 and 20, and that's Lane and Davis. I think those guys have to go for 30 points and 20 rebounds between the two, because this is going to be a tough environment on senior day in Portland. And then tempo and turnovers. You got a young point guard. He needs to push the ball but take care of the ball here on the road. For Portland, senior day energy. That means positive energy. You've got to bring it. You've got 4 new starters in the lineup, and then you got to fill the void. Your leading scorer is on the bench. Who is going to fill the void in terms of those picking up the points?
All right, so with that, we are set to go. Let's take a look at the series history. And these two have been at it for quite a few years now. 57-33, Pepperdine leading the all-time series. And this will be game number 91. Even though I'm lousy in math. See how quick I figured that one out?
I mean, anything under 100 you're good with, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Gets into triple digits, I got a problem.
You pull out the iPhone calc.
That's why they invented it. So all the seniors for Portland in the starting